In this video I'm going to slice up a long recording of Mbira keys into single samples. This is the instrument, a beautiful Mbira in Dambazzoko tuning made by Fradrik Bujuru from the Island collection. Here's the recording. I'm going to open it with a free audio editor software called Audacity. It first asks if I want to copy the file into the project folder. I won't, since the file is rather big. Now here's what the recording looks like. Each of these peaks is the beginning of a note. Let's zoom in. As you can see, all notes fade out into full silence. The shortcuts for zooming in and out are Command 1 and Command 3 on my Mac. If you're using a mouse, you can hold Shift and scroll horizontally with a mouse wheel. Before we start editing, let me set up a few things. First, I'm going to save a project file which contains the result of all my edits. The project is named after the original audio file, and I'm going to save it in the same folder. Again, Audacity asks to copy the audio file, which I won't, since it's already there in the same folder. Now I set the sample rate of the project to 44.1 kHz. This also determines the sample rate of the slices, which we're going to export later. Next, I convert this stereo recording to mono, which is sufficient for the purpose of the website and saves half of the memory. I do this with the stereo track to mono command from the track menu. Finally, I choose normalize from the effect menu. This amplifies the audio to make better use of available headroom. I check remove DC offset and set the normalize maximum amplitude to -0.1 dB. I'm going to save the project file again. Now for the actual slicing. Audacity has a nice tool to mark regions of audible material automatically. The regions still need manual adjustment, but they are a good starting point. I choose Sound Finder from the Analyze menu. Depending on the noise level of the recording, you can lower or raise the threshold for what is considered as silence. Here I go with 28 dB and press OK. The lower this number, the higher the audio level needs to be in order to be considered as actual material. Since I'm going to adjust each slice anyway, this rather high threshold is fine. As a result, another lane appears below the audio waveform. It contains region markers for audio slices. The audio within each region will later end up in a separate file. I scroll through the audio, and we can see that this rather silent section here is still considered as material. I can remove or add regions manually at any point, but I think I'll start over with a less tolerant threshold. So I hit undo, the marker lane goes away. Once more I choose the Sound Finder from the Analyze menu. This time I set the threshold to 16 dB below zero. I check the regions again, and the result looks pretty good. Now most recordings start with a bit of talking, sometimes with all keys on the soundboard quickly played from left to right. At times there's talking or other noises in between. We want to remove all of these regions. I can remove a single label by choosing Delete Label from the context menu. But for a whole bunch of markers, I use the Split Delete command from the Remove Special submenu of the Edit menu. If Split Delete is not available for whatever reasons, the Split Cut command works too. Let's make the waveform a bit bigger and zoom in. This recording has at least 3 takes per key, sometimes many more, until I was satisfied with the sound. I will now go through the whole recording and pick the best 3 or 4 takes for each key. I'm doing this by deleting all markers which I don't want to keep. It's important to not delete the audio material itself, which would be even easier. But I want to keep the markers in line with the original recording, because then I can drag in the original stereo recording again if I later want to process the audio in a different way. for example higher audio quality or to apply EQs or noise reduction. To listen to a section, I just click anywhere in the waveform and hit the space bar. So for that first key I have 6 takes. The first 2 seem to be a bit noisy, so I'm going to remove them. There are many aspects for choosing a good take. Sometimes there's background noise in the audio or unwanted ringing or buzzing, like this one here. I also pay attention to the sound which the finger makes when plucking a key and to audio peaks. For instance, compare these two. The first one sounds a bit harsh. Ideally, all takes would have more or less the same level. Occasionally keys are loose and the noise doesn't go away unless they are played very softly. In this case, I can adjust the audio level to be in line with the other takes or keys. Let me show how this is done. I select the portion I want to bring up, then I choose Amplify from the Effect menu. I can drag the slider for positive or negative amplification. Here I choose plus 6 dB, which doubles the sound pressure. But usually, if I have to adjust the level, I listen to the adjacent keys and try to match these. Here I don't want that, so let me undo. So now I'm done with picking the best takes. After every bit of work, it's a good idea to save the project, so I'm hitting Command S. Let me zoom out. The next step is to adjust the boundaries of each slice. I'm doing this in 2 passes. First all region starts, then the ends. The region starts have to be very accurate, so when synthesizing audio, neither the samples start late nor the attack portions are cut off. We do this at a very high zoom level. I'm going to move to the very first slice and zoom in to the start. As you can see, the region marker is quite off. Unfortunately, the Sound Finder command doesn't do better. Fortunately, there are nice keyboard shortcuts, so with mouse and keyboard together, we can work pretty quickly while staying at this zoom level. First of all, I click on the label. This keeps the audio selected, which makes it easier to align the boundary. Now I drag the marker to the point right before I see some significant level. Even at a low level, I try to get close to a point where the waveform crosses the 0 line, in order to avoid clicks in the audio. So somewhere here, not here. Now there are actually 2 things I can drag, a ball and a little arc. Let me zoom out to show you the difference. Dragging the ball at either end moves the whole region. Dragging the arc moves just that end of the region. For adjusting the start, either option is fine, since I'll be working on the region ends later. Okay, I zoom in again and hit undo to move the marker back. Now, with the region selected, I can just hit the tab key to move to the next region. Look at the number on the label. This is 26, 28, 29, 30, 33, 34. Shift tab gets me to the former region, but to its end. So in order to get to 28, I move to 27 and then change direction again. This even works circular across both ends of the whole recording. Shift tab on the very first region takes me to the very last one. So now I can quickly alternate between adjusting the starting point and going to the next slice. Once I'm done with all the starting points, I save the project and continue with the ends. I don't have to be that precise here, so I can zoom out. For every region, I want to capture enough audio for the keys to fully fade out, including all overtones and resonances. Too much silence, on the other hand, is a waste of memory. Using headphones is a good idea at this stage. I listen to this key. And at this point there seems to be silence. When in doubt, I rather make the regions a bit longer. To drag the region end, I move the mouse over the little arc that is bowed to the left. It can be a bit fiddly. If I drag the ball instead, I'll move the whole region, which I don't want. Fortunately, there's undo. This way I adjust all region lengths. With setting up the regions, the major work is done. I save the project. I will now give names to the regions. For choosing the names, I refer to the website. In the Help menu, I go to the Notations section for the respective type of instrument. Our instrument is an Mbira without extra keys. You can use your favorite notation to name the keys after. For this Mbira, I choose the pitch notation. My recording here starts with the upper left rank from bottom up. On the picture you see the L label, and the keys are numbered 1, 5, 4, 6, 7, 1 apostrophe, and 2. Let's take a look at a transcription. Here you see the row labels as on the picture before. The cells contain the numbers for the keys. Now here we have a row L with a key called 4. When you press play, the playback machinery looks for an audio file called L4.wave and plays it back at this point in time. Once again, the row is called L, the key is called 4. We want to name the regions in Audacity L4. So we get audio files like that. So this first slice here in the recording is the L1 key. There are 3 takes and I'm going to name each of them L1. I move to the next take with the tab key. The next one is called L5. This one is L4, and so on. I do this for all regions. And save the project. If you're not familiar with the notations, or there is not yet one, just skip the naming altogether. Now I'm basically done. The last step is to export the samples, so I can check the result. I choose the Export Multiple command from the File menu. The format we want is WAV 16-bit. I select labels here and using labels track name for the names. And finally I choose the folder which the sample should go to. I have set this up before. Then I click Export. For each slice I have to confirm a dialog. But fortunately I can just hold the Enter key and confirm them all until the window goes away. So here's the result. As you can see, for multiple regions with the same name, Audacity automatically appends a suffix, -2, -3, and so on. Now the website playback engine is prepared for this. If there are multiple files with the same suffix, the software randomly chooses one each time a key is played. This makes the playback sound a bit more natural. So finally I will listen to all slices and check their names, to make sure there are no typos or wrong labels. Like here, this one starts with a space. I'm going to fix it in Audacity. So that's it. Thank you for watching.